Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Learning English While Sleeping. I'm your host, Katherine. It's a pleasure to be with you before we have a beautiful dream. Today I have a special guest, career coach Sara Smith, who will share advice on identifying your skills and passions to find a job you really enjoy. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you, Katherine. I'm happy to be here.
Now, find a comfortable place and get ready to hear interesting stories. So, I won't keep you waiting too long. Let's get started. To start off, can you explain why it's so important to choose a job that fits your skills and interests?
Absolutely. When your job matches your abilities and what you feel passionate about, it makes going to work each day much more satisfying. You'll feel motivated, productive, and happy rather than bored or frustrated.
That makes total sense. So, how can listeners begin to identify their key skills?
A good first step is to make a list of tasks you feel confident doing, things that come naturally or that you received positive feedback on. For example, being organized, working with numbers, writing clearly, public speaking, and so on.
I can see how that self-reflection could provide useful insights. What about determining passions and interests?
Think about activities you enjoy and could happily spend hours doing. It could be anything: caring for animals, building things, solving puzzles, teaching others. Passions are the areas you feel most excited and curious to learn more about.
Those are great tips for getting in touch with innate abilities and interests. Once someone has identified those, how do they find job matches?
Start researching roles and fields that fit your skills and passions well. Talk to people working in those areas. You can also take career assessment tests for more insights into personality traits and potential matches.
This has been really helpful advice. Many of us want to know how to create a great resume that will make you stand out when applying for jobs. Sara, as a career coach, I'm sure you have lots of great tips to share on this. What are the most important things for a resume?
You'll want to make sure your resume is clear, concise, and highlights your most relevant skills and experience for the role you're seeking. The formatting should be clean and easy to scan quickly.
That's a good overview. Can you walk us through the main sections a resume should include?
Sure. Start with a brief personal summary spotlighting key strengths that position you as a strong candidate. Then, list out your work experience in reverse chronological order, describing responsibilities and achievements for each role. Quantify accomplishments when possible, like increase sales by 25%, as that data really grabs attention. Also, include a skills section showcasing your most valuable abilities for the job.
What about information beyond job duties? Should people cover education, extracurricular activities, and so on?
Definitely. Education and academic training are important resume sections. List degrees, institutions attended, coursework relevant to your field, and any honors received. If you have limited work experience, emphasize school involvement, like clubs, volunteer roles, or class projects that demonstrate transferable skills. For experienced candidates, only include prestigious awards or leadership roles outside of work.
Those are extremely helpful tips for tailoring a resume for different career stages. Let's talk about length and formatting.
For most roles, aim for one page unless you have over 10 to 15 years of experience to convey. Use brief, punchy statements in simple language rather than long paragraphs. Clear section headings and bulleted details allow for easy skimming. Finally, pay close attention to the job description and tailor your resume to mirror the critical keywords and skills they specify.
Resumes are crucial, but cover letters are also key when applying for jobs. Sara, what tips do you have for crafting a great cover letter?
A good cover letter allows you to make a strong first impression and highlight your passion for the role. It should complement your resume, not just restate it.
What are essential components to include?
Start with a formal greeting, addressing the hiring manager by name if possible. Then have an engaging opening paragraph, expressing enthusiasm for the position and the company. Briefly explain why you're an ideal fit. The body section is where you make connections between your background and the job requirements. Provide concrete details showcasing your relevant skills and accomplishments, but keep explanations concise and focused.
That helps paint a clear picture. Any advice on tone and style?
Definitely proofread carefully to fix any errors, as mistakes can make you look careless. Use professional yet conversational language, avoiding overly complex words and phrases. Be positive and confident, but remain humble as well. The closing paragraph should reiterate your interest and thank the reader for their consideration. End with a polite call to action, like, "I look forward to discussing how I can contribute."
Those are excellent cover letter guidelines. Should the letter match the resume's formatting?
Yes, using the same font, header, and style keeps a consistent personal brand across all application materials. Also, be sure to customize each letter for the specific role, rather than just using a generic template.
Before going to part 2 of the podcast, let me review some important vocabulary related to this topic. First of all, let's look at the adjective passionate. It means having or showing strong feelings of enthusiasm for something or belief in something. John has a passionate interest in classical music. How about the noun assessment? It's an opinion or a judgment about somebody or something that has been thought about very carefully. We conducted the initial assessments to define the scope of work. The third vocabulary word is trait. It's a noun meaning a particular quality in your personality. Awareness of class is a typical British trait. Let's see the word achievement. It is something that somebody has done successfully, especially using their own effort and skill. It was a remarkable achievement for such a young player. So now, let's think about the meaning of requirement. A requirement is something that you need or want. All products can be customized to suit your specific requirements. Next, it's the adjective professional. This word is connected with a job that needs special training or skill, especially one that needs a high level of education. Example, he may need professional help. What about the phrase call to action? It shows an order or a demand to do something in order to achieve an aim or deal with a problem. She ended her speech with a call to action. Then we have the noun application. It's a formal, often written, request for something, such as a job. We have received applications from more than 3,000 students. Finally, let's look at impression. This word means an idea, a feeling, or an opinion that you get about somebody or something, or that somebody or something gives you. She gives the impression of being very busy. Those are the vocabulary words you need to remember. Now, let's kick off with Did You Know before entering part 2. Did you know what important parts need to be included in a cover letter? A cover letter should have 3 main parts. First, it needs an introduction that says the job you are applying for. Second, the body explains why you are a good fit with examples from your experience. Third, it ends with a call to action asking for an interview. Do you know what we should add in the resume if we don't have any experience? If you do not have much work experience, talk about activities at school like clubs, volunteer work, or class projects. These show skills that can help at a job. If you have worked a lot, only mention important awards or times you were a leader outside of work. Those are some common keywords featured in our Do You Know segment. That also sets the stage for part 2. These days, so much job searching happens online. Sara, can you share some tips for effectively using websites and social media to find good opportunities?
Absolutely. The internet has made it so much easier to access a wider range of job postings and connect with companies and recruiters. Having an online presence is essential.
What are some of the top job search sites people should be using?
Major generalist boards like Indeed, Upwork, and CareerBuilder are great for finding listings across all fields. LinkedIn is another important platform. You can search for jobs, but also build your professional network.
It seems having a polished LinkedIn profile is very important then. What should people highlight?
Yes, think of your LinkedIn as an interactive resume showcasing your skills and experience. Include a professional photo and a compelling about summary. Describe accomplishments for each role, not just responsibilities. Ask colleagues to endorse your top abilities and write recommendation letters. It's also useful to follow companies you're interested in and join groups related to your profession. This allows you to engage with others in your field and get insights.
That's really valuable advice for job seekers. Any other tips for using online tools?
Set up email alerts for your desired roles so you're immediately notified of new openings. And be sure to make your accounts public and Google yourself sometimes. Employers will likely do online research about candidates. You want to present a positive professional image.
Networking is often cited as one of the most powerful tools for career development. Sara, why is it so important to build a strong professional network?
Networking allows you to tap into the hidden job market of unadvertised openings that might be an ideal match. Your connections can provide insights, advice, and possibly even get you a job that you might have missed otherwise.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some effective ways to start growing your network?
First, get connected on LinkedIn with former classmates, colleagues, managers, professors, anyone you've had a positive professional relationship with. Sending personalized connection requests is better than generic ones. It's also valuable to join industry groups or associations related to your field of interest. Attend local meetings and events to make new contacts with shared interests.
Those in-person interactions seem so valuable. Do you have tips for working a networking event?
Absolutely. Before the event, have your elevator pitch ready, a short way to introduce your background and goals. Bring business cards to easily share contact information. During the event, make eye contact and give firm handshakes to everyone you meet. Ask questions about their role and company to keep the conversation flowing. And be sure to get their card as well to follow up. Now, the follow-up is key. Within a week, send a brief email or message referencing your discussion and expressing interest to continue the dialogue.
Such great advice on making lasting connections. Once you've applied for roles, the next big step is nailing the job interview. Sara, What advice do you have for getting ready for this crucial meeting?
Proper preparation is key to making a great impression in interviews. First, research the company thoroughly. Read their website, news, stories, and social media to understand their mission, products, or services, and culture.
Having that knowledge must be really helpful for answering questions well. What else should candidates do ahead of time?
Practice answering common interview questions out loud, but have talking points ready rather than scripted responses. You want to sound natural. Also, prepare several insightful questions to ask the interviewer about the role and company. The night before, choose an outfit that looks professional, yet is something you'll feel comfortable in. Have all materials like copies of your resume and examples of your work ready to go.
The day of the interview is so important, too. What tips do you have for that day?
Absolutely. Allow extra time in case of delays so you arrive around 15 minutes early. Bring a notepad and pen to jot notes. Greet everyone warmly and give a firm handshake. During the interview, make eye contact and be conscious of your body language. Sit upright and avoid fidgeting. Listen carefully and ask for clarification if needed before responding concisely. Most importantly, convey enthusiasm and show how your background makes you an ideal candidate using specific examples that demonstrate skills. Send a thank you email reiterating your interests that evening.
Here is the word platform. It means a place or chance for somebody to express their opinions or make progress in a particular area. She used the newspaper column as a platform for her feminist views. What about accomplishment? This word means an impressive thing that is done or achieved after a lot of work. It was one of the president's greatest accomplishments. Next, we have another noun, recommendation. It's an official suggestion about the best thing to do. The main recommendation is for a change in the law. Here is the word connection. This word means something that connects two facts, ideas, etc. Consumers are more likely to buy something from a person or shop they feel a personal connection to. Association is an official group of people who have joined together for a particular purpose. Do you belong to any professional or trade associations? Next is interaction. Interaction means talking or working with somebody. Sara mentioned the interaction between people in a company. In addition, it's the noun network. It means a closely connected group of people, companies, etc. that exchange information. Expand your network of contacts beyond your usual circles. Now, look at interview. This word means a formal meeting at which somebody is asked questions to see if they are suitable for a particular job. He has an interview next week for the manager's job. Here is the vocabulary word mission. It means an important official job that a person or group of people is given to do. She led a recent trade mission to China. The last word is background. It means the details of a person's family, education, experience, etc. The job would suit someone with a business background. Well, in addition, I have some tips on how to maintain balance between work and personal life. In our busy careers, it's so important to prioritize self-care and personal time as well. Making space for rest, relationships, and activities you enjoy outside of work is essential for sustainable productivity and well-being. One key is to set clear boundaries between your professional and personal lives. When possible, Avoid checking emails or taking work calls outside of set working hours. Disconnect fully on evenings, weekends, and vacations. That's some information about the parts we went through previously. Okay, now let's enjoy the final part. You covered so many helpful tips for acing the interview itself, but the process doesn't end there. Proper follow-up is also crucial. Sara, why is sending a thank you email so important?
The thank you email serves several key purposes. First, it lets you show your interest in the job and remind them how your skills fit the role. It's also a chance to answer any questions you didn't fully answer during the interview. And it shows good communication skills and professional behavior.
Those are great points. When is the best time to send the thank you email?
You should send it quickly, within 24 hours of your interview, while they still remember you well. Any later, and it may not have the same impact.
What are the important parts to include in the email?
Start with a formal greeting, like Dear Mr. or Mrs. last name. Then, in the first line, introduce yourself and thank them for meeting with you. In the next few paragraphs, say again how excited you are about the job. Highlight 1 or 2 strengths that make you the best candidate. You can share a short example showing skills that match the job needs. If there were any important points you didn't get to cover, this is a chance to mention them briefly.
What should the closing part of the email include?
End by thanking them again for their time. You can also say you are happy to answer any other questions they may have. Finally, close with sincerely, followed by your full name, email, signature, and contact information.
After all the hard work of applying and interviewing, finally getting a job offer is so exciting. But Sara, the negotiation process can feel scary for many people. What advice do you have for this stage?
You're right, Katherine. Negotiating an offer is an important step that needs careful preparation. With the right approach, you can ask for fair pay while keeping the talk friendly. The most important thing is to have proof for why you are asking for a certain salary. Research typical salary ranges for that job and area so you have facts. Also, be ready to clearly explain the specific skills and value you bring.
Those are smart strategies. How should candidates start the negotiation once they get an offer?
Start by showing excitement about the job. Then share your thoughts on the salary. Use polite words like, however, after careful consideration, the salary seems below the typical market range for someone with my skills. Be prepared to calmly counter with a higher number that matches your research and experience level. Avoid giving the first number. Let them make an opening offer.
That's a tactful way to address the issue. What if the salary is in line with expectations, but the benefits need improving?
In that case, focus your negotiation there. Maybe ask for a review in 6 months instead of yearly, or see if they can increase things like paid time off, professional development funds, or retirement contributions. The key is prioritizing which pieces are most important to you. You may need to get creative in finding compromises if the salary itself is fixed.
Now, please join me in learning the last 10 vocabulary words. These are words that are a bit difficult to remember. Please try to understand them. Do you recognize the first word? It's qualification. This is the noun that means a skill or type of experience that you need for a particular job or activity. Previous teaching experience is a necessary qualification for this job. How about the noun opportunity? Have you often heard it before? It means a time when a particular situation makes it possible to do or achieve something. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues for their support. Next, we have consideration. The meaning of this word is the act of thinking carefully about something. Careful consideration should be given to issues of health and safety. Let's figure out contact. It means the act of communicating with somebody, especially regularly. There is little contact between the two organizations. Please try to remember the noun candidate. It's the person who is trying to be elected or is applying for a job. He is the best candidate for the job. Then we have demonstrate. It means to show something clearly by giving proof or evidence. Let me demonstrate to you some of the difficulties we are facing. Now, take a look at appreciation. It means the feeling of being grateful for something. She never shows any appreciation for our efforts. Let's see the noun negotiation. It means formal discussion between people who are trying to reach an agreement. They begin another round of negotiations today. Have you heard the adjective essential? It means completely necessary, extremely important in a particular situation or for a particular activity. The museum is closed while essential repairs are being carried out. The last word of today is preparation. This word means the act or process of getting ready for something or making something ready. Careful preparation for the interview is essential. Here are some small tips for everyone who wants to get a new job. Hope it will be useful to you. And remember that the workforce is going through a major change because of new technology like automation, artificial intelligence, and new ways of working remotely. These changes will significantly impact the types of jobs available and required skills. Jobs requiring skills that machines cannot easily copy will also stay in demand. Things like critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving, emotional intelligence, and personalized services. There's also a growing focus on employee well-being, such as mental health support, work-life balance, and creating inclusive, human-centered cultures. Companies that prioritize this may have an advantage in attracting top talent. Those sound like positive changes that could improve the overall experience of work. Thank you so much for sharing your insights into these important future developments, Sara. And hey guys, take care and keep exploring our world by listening to the next episodes on Podcast Sleep. Good night, sleep tight.